Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, remember to subscribe to True Wives Stories and hit the like button if you've ever experienced a reality show lose its zing. Today, we're discussing what a lot of fans have been whispering, some shouting about. Is it time to bid adieu to Sister Wives? Let's be real, long-time fans are criticizing the show for its redundant storylines and lack of direction. What was once a pioneering show, Sister Wives has turned into a merry-go-round of reused drama, and patience is thinning. So now the question is burning. How much longer can this show continue before its fans walk away for good? Hang in there with us as we learn about the post-polygamy lives of the Brown family women, because their true stories may be more interesting than the show itself. Robin, Mary, Christine, and Janelle used to be wives to Cody Brown, a man committed to making plural marriage a reality. But almost 3 years ago, Mary, Christine, and Janelle made a brave choice. They exited. Why? Because it had become apparent that Robin was the one being favored, and the imbalance was undeniable. Their lives have been in a strong direction for the better, full of peace, self-exploration, and happiness since exiting. Christine is happy with her new hubby, David Woolley. Janelle and Mary, free at last from the toxic cycle, are doing great on their own terms. They're rebuilding a relationship with their children and finally living for themselves, not for the health of a dying relationship. Their fans have celebrated their fortitude and autonomy, but even they acknowledge Sister Wives isn't what it once was, which brings us to the dispute that's created even more ire, the tell-all shows. Intended to provide closure and unfiltered truth, these shows have simply recycled old information. The faithful feel betrayed, witnessing the same emotional cycles over and over, and they're finished. Why are we still making the same divorce for 3 seasons in a row? One supporter complained. There's no tail remaining, it's just dragging on. Many have finally had enough, ready to walk away for good after the 4th tell-all aired. So what comes next? Is this really the end of Sister Wives as we know it? Though most viewers are eager to see the existing format come to a close, there is increasing buzz about a spin-off of the original 3 Wives After Divorce. Fans are not quite finished with the Browns, just with the status quo. There's appeal in a new direction, one that sees Mary, Christine, and Janelle try to find themselves again. But anything with Cody and Robin? Pass. Talking about life post-polygamy, let's discuss Janelle Brown, because she's been making headlines of her own. She recently finally broke down years of fan speculation about whether or not she's straight. After watching her seeming so emotionally distant from Cody, many guessed she might be asexual. But Janelle isn't holding her tongue anymore, she's telling her truth, and fans weren't prepared for what she had to say. Janelle revealed that while she may have seemed disinterested in physical intimacy during her marriage, that didn't mean she's asexual. In fact, she said plainly, "I'm not asexual, I assure you." The assumption that her lack of chemistry with Cody meant she had no desires couldn't be further from the truth. According to her, it was never about lacking passion, it was about not wanting it with him. And in a candid moment, she added something fans didn't expect. "I'm a very sexual person. If someone new comes along, that part of me will absolutely matter." Janelle described herself as a grounded, sensual Taurus, someone who embraces all things earthy, including food, wine, and yes, sex. The honesty left fans stunned, but also impressed. She's not just reclaiming her life, she's reclaiming her narrative. This raw vulnerability reminds us why audiences have fallen in love with these women to begin with. Their ability to be honest, to learn, and to vocalize their truth is what made Sister Wives so addictive to begin with. At its height, the show provided a fascinating glimpse into a complicated way of life, polygamy, companionship, and the emotional complications that accompany it. But now all that's left of that initial narrative is a faint echo. And yet there can still be hope if the network revises course away from the tired group dynamic and into the actual lives these women are creating. So, is Sister Wives done? Perhaps in its own incarnation, but Mary, Christine, and Janelle's story, that's only just beginning. Hi guys, welcome back to True Wives Stories. If you've been a Sister Wives fan for a long time, you're not going to want to miss this. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and thumbs up on this video if you're one of many who feel like the show just isn't what it used to be. For more than a decade, Sister Wives hooked viewers with its unbridled and frequently provocative look at plural marriage. It was new, it was edgy, a show that opened the door on a life most viewers had never known. But lately, something's changed, and not for the best. As the most recent episodes were aired, particularly the post-season interviews, it became apparent enough is enough. What was once a compelling examination of family life has grown into a tiresome routine of unsolved grievances, stale feelings, and recycled storylines. Fans who endured the program through thick and thin are now inquiring, is there still a story to be told? Let's rewind to what made this show so gripping in the first place. When Sister Wives first started, it was brazen. It introduced us to one man, Cody Brown, juggling love, religion, and equality among 4 wives: Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robin. The premise was highly charged: love triangles, spiritual cohesion, and the intricate logistics of group marriages. But things began to crack. The tension increased, favoritism was blatant, and eventually the once cohesive family disintegrated. Finally, the inevitable occurred. 3 of the wives, Christine, Janelle, and Mary, put on their running shoes and left. It wasn't a divorce, it was the start of a personal revolution. After years of emotional abandonment, blatant bias, and a complete absence of reciprocity, they finally opted for themselves. And this is where it gets uplifting. One discovered love once more with someone who understands and appreciates her. Another looked within and drew strength from her children, her interests, and her autonomy. The third embarked on a new book completely, exploring, growing, and living life on her own terms. Fans not only applauded these choices, they were profoundly touched by them. These women became a poster child for rebirth after repression. So, with all these titanic shifts, why does the show come across as so stagnant? The latest tell-all special was meant to provide emotional closure. Instead, it was déjà vu. The same old discussions, betrayal, favoritism, and the past replayed on repeat. Fans had hoped for candor, perhaps even healing, but were served reruns masquerading as revelations. Rather than insight, wounds were reopened. And the response? Frustration, tedium, even betrayal. Online forums that once buzzed with anticipation now echo with sighs of disappointment. "I've been watching since day one," one user said, "but after the latest episodes, I've completely checked out. Nothing ever changes." And perhaps that is the crux of the issue. The program itself has not changed. The joint lives that characterize Sister Wives have dissolved, but the narrative remains in the voice of Cody and his sole surviving companion, Robin. It is no longer a story of a plural family. It is the aftermath of its collapse, limping on with no additional layers. But here's where there could be a silver lining and a genuine opportunity. Fans aren't against continuing the saga. Actually, most of them want more, but not from Cody. They want to see what happens on the journeys of the women who left. There's something irresistibly interesting in seeing them take back their lives, delve into new relationships, and recreate themselves. They're growing up. Their stories are true. That's what people want to watch. A spin-off focusing on Mary, Christine, and Janelle, potentially even including their now adult children, has generated buzz. Envision a documentary-style series exploring their recovery, their autonomy, and their growth as individuals, not simply sister wives. That's the emotional complexity fans are hungry for, but rather the show persists with a now monogamous relationship that is interesting to very few viewers. One viewer said bluntly, "The original concept is gone. The show should have changed direction, but instead it holds on to what's left of a broken framework." The portents are all there. This might be the last curtain call. Audience attention is plummeting. Recaps are like broken records. Emotional moments that were once intimate now feel manipulative. The show, which was once a pop culture water cooler, now feels like a frozen story trapped in rewind. But amidst all this, a subtle but strong change is taking place. Take Janelle, for instance. After years of being framed by someone else's idea of love, she's rewriting her own story. No more whisperings, no more speculation. She's speaking her truth. Recently, she addressed rumors about her sexuality, putting an end to assumptions once and for all. "I'm not asexual," she clarified. "I just didn't want to kiss him." It was a mic drop moment. Raw, honest, and so human. She even cracked a joke about being a sensual Taurus with a penchant for wine, food, and yes, intimacy. It was new to Janelle fans, and they adored it. She is not the only one. All three women are on the rise, emerging from the shadows of polygamy, from the burden of emotional compromise, from being background characters in another's drama. And perhaps that's the true narrative now. The ascension of the once silenced. Women reclaiming their voices, claiming space, living with purpose and happiness unapologetically. So, has Sister Wives played its card? In its initial incarnation, definitely. But if the future of this franchise holds out, it isn't with Cody and what's left of his experiment gone wrong. It's with the women who left and discovered themselves. She was once described as distant, emotionless, cold, but today she's rewriting all the lies ever laid at her feet, and doing so with clarity, humor, and strength. Welcome back to True Wives Stories, where we uncover the reality behind the headlines. Be sure to subscribe and let's discuss the version of Janelle that cameras never fully captured. The unfulfilled emotional needs, the confused out wants. That chapter is closed. What remains is a woman who speaks with authority, self-awareness, and the guts to speak what many confused for years. For years, fans and analysts attempted to define her. Her sexuality, her emotional range, even her concept of desire were analysed by outsiders. Because Janelle didn't act affection on television, because she appeared distant, people inferred she didn't feel. Or worse, that she didn't desire. Some were cruel, others made subtle judgments. But what they didn't know, what they were seeing wasn't disconnection, it was survival. And now she's speaking that truth. Recently, in a candidly honest moment, Janelle made the rumors go away. "I've read the rumors and heard the speculation. Because I wasn't being intimate on camera, people feel like they know me. But just because it wasn't seen doesn't mean it wasn't real." She existed in a system that valued duty over desire. Her days were filled with mothering, keeping a fragile peace intact, and attempting to locate shards of closeness in a home that infrequently felt emotionally secure. "I didn't have room to figure out what closeness meant for me," she confessed. "I was simply trying to maintain equilibrium in a space that never accommodated vulnerability. Now, that's all altered." Janelle speaks with down-to-earth truth. "I'm a sensual human, always have been, but sensuality requires safety, and when you're in emotional defense mode all the time, intimacy is a performance, not connection." She's tired of performing, tired of surviving. "People told me I was asexual because I didn't board the PDA train. That's absurd. I adore life's pleasures, food, connection, physical affection. I'm earthy." This is Janelle, unfiltered, and at last truly seen. She's not actively seeking love, nor is she shutting it out either. "I don't require validation from anyone, but if the right one comes along, someone who gets me, who understands my values, then of course intimacy will be part of that." This is not a woman in wait for someone to rescue her. This is a woman who has rescued herself. Her journey wasn't smooth. Years of quiet suffering, emotional compromise, and being quiet in the background drained her, but now she's living a season of reclaiming the pieces of herself that were previously set aside for the sake of harmony. You learn to put your own needs down when you're living in a system like that. Becoming a pro at saying, "I'm fine," comes so natural. But that's not living, that's surviving. And she's done surviving. Today, Janelle is doing well. She's launched a new venture. She's out in her yard. She's basking in time with her children and grandchildren. "The earth has always grounded me," she explains. "There's something holy about putting life into the ground and seeing it grow. It brings you into the moment." And perhaps that's the metaphor for her life today. Grounded, planted, and finally growing in the sun. What resonates with so many about her journey isn't the fact that she left behind a dysfunctional dynamic, it's how she reframed who she was on the other side. She's owned every aspect of herself, every aspect she once had to conceal. "There's more to me than the character I was in someone else's story. I am not the silent wife. I am not the one that just tolerates it. I am whole. I am powerful. I am loving, and I now own all of the pieces of me that I had to remain silent about for so long." With laughter, with tears, with decades spent being misjudged, Janelle is finally living her life, and her tale is not merely one of survival, it's one of rebirth. She enters this next chapter with 2 feet firmly in reality and a heart ready for whatever might grow next.